Alright, so number 28. A right triangle has a hypotenuse of length 10. So the hypotenuse is the longest one across from the right angle. And one leg length 7. So we'll just pick one to put as 7. Find the length of the other leg, so I'll call that x. And the measures of the acute angles in the triangle. So we need to get this angle and this angle. So I'll call them, I don't know, A and B. Why not? Alright, so what can we do here? We've got these two sides, and we need this one. We can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure that out. X squared plus 7 squared is 100 squared, or is 10 squared. So x squared plus 49 equals 100. If we subtract 49 from both sides, we get x squared equals 51. And then if we take the square root, and we're measuring a distance which has to be positive, so we don't have to worry about plus or minus, x equals the square root of 51, and it says round your answers to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to use this fancy calculator to get an approximate answer for the square root of 51. 7.1414 blah blah blah, which is going to be rounded to the nearest tenth, 7.1. And that means I should be using squiggly approximately equal to. So this is approximately 7.1. Now I need to find these angles. Let's see. I want to use the 10 and the 7 because those are exact and this is approximate. So if I want to find angle A, what ratio uses the adjacent side and the hypotenuse? SOHCAHTOA. We want to use the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So if I say cosine of A equals adjacent, which is 7, over hypotenuse, which is 10, then in order to find out what A is, I just do the inverse cosine. Inverse cosine of A is just A. So A is going to be inverse cosine, or arc cosine is another name for it, of 7/10. Now I'm going to get my calculator again, and I'm going to do shift cosine to get the inverse cosine, 7 over 10, 0.79. That doesn't sound right. The reason is because my calculator is in radians probably. Let me check my mode. And if you look right here, it's in radian. So I'm going to put it in degrees. And then I'm going to do this again and see what I get in degrees. 45, rounded to the nearest tenth, 45.6. So A is 45.6 degrees. It's approximately 45.6 degrees. Now to find B, from angle B I have the opposite side and the hypotenuse, and that is sine. So sine of B is equal to the opposite, which is 7, over the hypotenuse, which is 10. And then I'm going to take the arc sine, or the inverse sine. So B is the inverse sine of 7/10. So I'm just going to need my fancy schmancy calculator. And I need to find the inverse sine of 7/10. And that's about 44.4, and I'm still in degrees because I just put it in degrees. So 44.4 degrees. So B is approximately equal to 44.4 degrees. And that's number 28.